He's your favourite fighter. One of my favourite fighters to watch him. I hope when I beat him he doesn't retire. I hope he has some more fights. I hope he doesn't retire once I beat him, but that's what's going to happen. I'm going to beat him just like I beat Michael Chandler. Beat him to the punch on the feet, ruin his legs with kicks. I'm going to damage his calf, and if it does go to the ground, it'll be over even faster.
Poirier has made a prediction that could surprise many fight fans heading into this matchup.
Justin, you're one of the few that I've heard say that. Can you tell us why?
I just think he's been in those 25-minute fights. He's been in dog fights before.
An experienced analyst highlighted Gaethje's extensive background in brutal 5-round fights as a major factor likely to influence the outcome. After surviving countless wars inside the cage, Gaethje possesses something no gym can teach, the ability to endure and thrive when situations turn dangerous. Poirier questioned whether Pimblett could realistically control Gaethje on the feet, while also doubting if the Brit could consistently secure takedowns against such a defensively sound wrestler. This places Pimblett in a risky position where striking exchanges appear far more likely. According to Poirier, Pimblett's biggest challenge is maintaining discipline across the full 25-minute championship distance. Staying composed, choosing moments wisely, and avoiding reckless exchanges usually comes from years of elite-level experience. Gaethje carries far greater punching power and shows a willingness to absorb damage in order to land his own shots. Enduring that kind of pressure for 5 full rounds is a massive task for anyone.
Have a tough time stopping him on the feet, and I don't think Paddy's going to be able to get him down, so he's going to have to fight with him. Unless Paddy can stay super disciplined for 25 minutes, stay at distance, pick his shots. Justin's just a bigger puncher, and he'll put himself in harm's way to land one of those shots, and it's tough to stay away from it for 25 minutes.
Do you think that the UFC wants Paddy to win?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, because Justin's talking about retirement, and Paddy's still young, and they can continue to build him. There's a bunch of fights we haven't seen with Paddy. So it's more marketable if Paddy wins.
And so how do you see it playing out?
I think Justin stops him.
Wow.
Alexander Volkanovski views the matchup very differently as UFC 324 approaches on January 24th. The former featherweight champion predicts Pimblett will win and capture the interim title. His reasoning is based on Pimblett's history of rising to the occasion when doubts surround him. Time and again, critics question Pimblett before major tests, only for him to execute his game plan flawlessly. Volkanovski pointed to Pimblett's performance against Chandler as proof that he can stick to a strategy under extreme pressure, a trait that will be vital against a dangerous and unpredictable opponent like Gaethje.
I'm going to go with Paddy, you know what I mean? There's been a couple of times where I thought Paddy's had big tests in front of him and he's passed them. And, you know, he's showed me in his last fight he can really stick to a game plan. And he's going to need that with a Gaethje. So I'm going to go...
Covington voiced frustration on submission radio over betting markets heavily favoring Pimblett, especially with active fighters now allowed to gamble on bouts. Covington stated he would confidently place a large bet on Gaethje. Despite public support leaning toward the British fighter, Covington believes Gaethje represents the toughest and most punishing challenge Pimblett has faced so far. He suggested this fight will reveal whether Pimblett truly belongs among the elite or if his rise has been partly manufactured.
You know, if he gets it done, it's because Justin's just so shot. He's been in so many wars, you know, he's been around the company so long, and that knockout to Max Holloway, he just hasn't recovered from. So if he gets to win that, then yeah, there. But this is like, seems like a smash spot. Like if I was able to bet fighting, which we're not allowed to because the feds got involved because that moron coach James Krause screwed it up for all of us. But this seems like a smash spot on Gaethje because everybody's on, and all the public is driving the money line for Paddy Pimblett to be the favorite. But you know, I think Justin's still a tough dog, and he's going to come out there and give his all, and he doesn't want to lose this fight. This could be his last fight if he loses. So, you know, I think he's going to put Paddy to the test, and, you know, Paddy, you know, usually has to control the wrestling aspect, put guys to the ground to get his submission and to get his striking game working. So, you know, I don't know. Justin's shot on one hand, they're trying to give him an easy win on a silver platter to Paddy to build him up. You know, he's got a little bowl cut and a little mouth, and they think he's the next star. So I don't know. It's a tough fight to judge. You know, how much is left in the tank for Justin versus a guy that's absolute nobody that hasn't actually accomplished anything in the sport yet.
Dan Hooker echoed similar sentiments, strongly disagreeing with Pimblett being the betting favorite. Hooker highlighted Gaethje's elite takedown defense as a major obstacle to Pimblett's game. He stated that he does not see Pimblett successfully taking Gaethje to the ground and pointed out that Pimblett has not yet faced many top-level athletes in their prime. Belal Muhammad also broke the fight down on his YouTube channel and leaned toward Gaethje, noting Pimblett's tendency to absorb heavy shots in striking exchanges. Against a finisher like Gaethje, those defensive flaws become far more dangerous, leading Muhammad to pick Gaethje as the winner.
Don't get pulled into chaos. Don't get pulled into grappling or wrestling or showing that you could do what he can do better, right? I think on the feet, Justin, you have a really big advantage. And if you're patient, you're smart, you systematically break him down, kind of like how you did against Tony Ferguson, it'll be an easy night for you. For Paddy, I think you got to create chaos. You got to wrestle as much as possible. Yeah, he has college wrestling accolades. This isn't college wrestling. This is UFC. This is fighting. This is punches. This is grappling. This is everything involved. So if I'm Paddy, I want to shoot in early and test it early. Because when you guys are both dry, that's where it comes. You've seen guys like Habib catch a low kick and shoot off it, or as he's pulling that kick back, shoot off it, pushing him to the fence. We've seen him get pressured. We don't want to get hit by him. Everybody who gets hit by him says how hard he hits. He's one of the hardest hitters in the division. So let's not test your chin. Let's not say Scousers don't get knocked out, right? We don't need to do that. I think your path to victory is clear. It's on the ground. I think you will have a big advantage if it gets into those hard grappling exchanges. And especially if you get multiple takedowns on him. You were able to control Michael Chandler, who was another college wrestler, on the ground pretty easily, mounted him. And you say you want to do the same thing with Justin? Let's put that plan to action. My pick, I think I'm going to go with Justin. I think Paddy just gets hit a lot on the feet. Yeah, he's pretty much clean his last two victories, but Jared Gordon had some clean shots on him, big hooks, big crosses. And Justin kind of like boxes, kind of like Jared. Clean, he likes dirty boxing, he likes inside boxing. Justin's very good there, so I think I'm going to pick Justin in this one. I don't know if he knocks him out or finishes him. I do think it kind of would be a decision. Going on the Tony Ferguson type fight. Paddy's tough. He's not hard to break. I mean, he's not...
Michael Chandler offered especially valuable insight due to having fought both men. After losing to Pimblett in April 2025, Chandler acknowledged that Pimblett is more skilled than many fans give him credit for. However, when pressed for a final prediction, Chandler still leaned toward Gaethje based on overall experience and completeness. He views Gaethje as a completely different level of opponent than anyone Pimblett has previously faced. Chandler also suggested Gaethje could eventually challenge Pereira for a title, while praising Pereira as one of the most complete fighters in the sport today. The lightweight division, he noted, is stacked with elite talent, making every claim difficult to dismiss.
Oh man, more skilled, more experienced, I think better fighter all around, Justin Gaethje. But I also have been on record and said that Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is. You know, because of his haircut and the way he talks, and when I fought him, he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there, but Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion, and then he's Ilya Topuria later on.
O'Malley stood out by firmly backing Pimblett to win the interim title. The bantamweight star believes this is a favorable stylistic matchup for the British grappler. O'Malley predicts Pimblett will find an opening in the second round and capitalize with a rear-naked choke submission. This reflects strong confidence in Pimblett's grappling skills and his instinct for recognizing moments of vulnerability during chaotic exchanges.
I don't know, dude. I'm kind of leaning towards Paddy. But the way he does get hit with left hooks, he looks so good against Michael Chandler. Paddy's got a lot of ways to win.
He's a scouser.
He's a scouser. Scousers don't get knocked out, you mushroom.
He KO'd Dustin with a head kick too. The fight before the Max Holloway one, which is pretty impressive.
True. So who we got, man?
Probably Paddy, rear naked.
I think, Paddy RNC.
Because members could be.
Yeah. Remember Habib. Paddy RNC is definitely...
Matt Brown took a broader view, criticizing what this matchup represents in modern UFC matchmaking. The veteran fighter expressed frustration that Pimblett's rapid rise to an interim title shot appears driven more by popularity and marketability than competitive merit. Brown contrasted this with Arman Sarukian, who defeated elite contenders and proved himself against the division's toughest opponents, yet was passed over for a title opportunity. Meanwhile, Pimblett received a major chance. Brown argued this highlights a growing issue where visibility and star power can outweigh accomplishment in determining championship paths.
Saying Paddy's more popular, you're getting it over Arman.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, right? And that's, I mean, God, I hate like I kind of get into this too much, but I mean, that's really like, that's the definition of, you know, a monopoly where a single promoter owns the title and the rankings, and it's not a good thing for the sport, in my opinion. And I don't know, I have to question what it's going to do for the longevity of the sport. You know, I don't think in the short term it's really going to make a big difference, right? Like, you know, it's going to sell the next fight, right? It's going to sell the next pay-per-view, but trends tend to come and go, right? Fads tend to come and go. At some point, like, to have staying power and lasting power, I think it requires, a meritocracy-based system. It's going to require, some, if you want to bring in guys like Armin Sarukian or Movsar Evloev, I always mess up how I say his name. You want to bring in these Olympic wrestling level guys. I mean, they don't want to have to go out there and put on some ridiculous show to become a champion. They don't want to have to go on Instagram and start a podcast and make whatever kind of skits on social media and this silly kind of stuff. Like, they just want to be a world champion because they want to be the best athlete. And that's what makes me wonder how the staying power is going to be, right? When you're dealing with guys that are, legitimate athletes that want to be legitimate athletes, and they're getting passed up